I got the pleasure of being joined by Tom Honey from Good Weather for an Airstrike on this Skype excitement. It's been wonderful to keep exploring, new music of late. And actually, I spoke about this on the show last night, actually, that part of the reason I kind of stopped looking into music for a little while, the sort of year or two of really going down the road of like podcasts and audiobooks. And part of what you do with your music is to, create music that helps alleviate issues caused by tinnitus. So yeah, looking forward to getting onto that. But I just wanted to allow you to introduce yourself and talk about your background and what got you into music.
Yeah, cheers, Graham. So, my name's Tom Honey, like you say. I've been doing this project for about 9 years, I think. I kind of started listening to a bit of ambient music around that time. And like I say, I've suffered from tinnitus, and I found it just kind of helped me drift off to sleep a bit better, because obviously some nights tinnitus can be a bit much of trying to get to sleep. So I was listening to things like Yonce and Alex and Sigur Ros, Alleviate, Stars of the Lid kind of thing, and I kind of
Stars of the Lid as well. I've enjoyed them over the years.
Stars of the Lid are fantastic. Yeah, so I just kind of wanted to give it a crack myself, and away I went, kind of thing from there.
Oh, great! What was the kind of cause of the tinnitus? Was it loud music in the past?
I'm not entirely sure. I mean, in my teen days, I did go to an awful lot of gigs, which I probably did stand a little bit too close to the speakers.
Yeah.
But no, I don't think it was anything completely obvious. It just kind of started coming around when I was about 17, 18, and just went from there.
Right.
But did you say you suffer from tinnitus as well, Graham?
Yeah, I have. Yeah, kind of ebbs and flows, but there's definitely a big background that's constantly there. Again, it's from over time. A lot of psytrance raves over the years. And a lot of gigs as well. There's one I remember in Southend, actually, at some event out at this barn, and I walked into one of the smaller rooms, as it were, in this barn, and there's like a rock band on stage, and the sound was mixed so badly, and you had to go walk past one of the speakers to get in. And just as I was walking through, I got this blast, and you get that pain in the ears, and I knew in that moment that was another round.
Yeah, I vaguely remember seeing a interview. I can't remember exactly who it, but I think it was like a Motley Crue gig, and like half the audience left not actually being able to hear anything afterwards. The rock and roll lifestyle. Though,
yeah, exactly. I've noticed often as well that you could be at a rave or a gig, and a lot of the artists will have earphones in, and I kind of wondered that in moments that instead of everybody having to wear earphones, why don't they just turn the volume down?
Yeah, I know. Yeah,
but I guess that power and that volume and the frequency is part of being there, I guess.
It is. Yeah, I've started wearing earplugs myself to watch gigs and whatnot. It seems to actually have done the trick.
So, yeah, I've been trying not to kick myself too much, because I remember years ago I went to the Secret Garden party, and there was a stall there about ear health and maintaining it. They're giving out free the foam ones, earplugs.
Yeah.
But I bought from them the slightly more expensive ones where you can change the middle bit.
Yes,
and so I bought a pair, but then within a year I think I lost them. But then I still went out and thought, okay, it'd be fine. So another couple of years after that, I'd still go to events, and then it got worse still. So.
Oh no. So I think it's the foam ones are always, they're good, but it kind of just muffles the sound rather than anything else, doesn't it?
Yeah, exactly. So what then kind of brought you to create the music? I mean, like in terms of how to do it. So you had the styles of music that you enjoyed, and just from the effects that you knew from these artists you liked. Then what was their steps to create it yourself?
So I just got some cheap software, and I just played about with various MIDI files, and then reverb pedals and delay pedals. It's all very much self-taught. It's a bit. I'll often get people asking me how the best way around to making ambient music, but I don't think there necessarily is a right way as such. It's very trial and error. What works for some people doesn't work for another person.
I know what you mean. I've done that when I've had to create other videos, or at some point of creation. As long as you know what you want to create, somehow you'll find a way of doing it. Is that the case with you?
Absolutely, yeah. Very much so.
You kind of knew the sound that you wanted to create, and then it's just how to create it, basically.
Yeah, so there's an awful lot of truly, truly terrible demos that I've done in the past, which will hopefully never see the light of day. But without them, you don't really learn how to do things. So it's good to have those terrible moments just to work out what you've done wrong, how to rectify it all, that kind of thing. In recent years, I've been using a lot more guitar-based things, so it's a lot more drenched in reverb, as I'm sure you can hear, which at the moment is working for me well. But there's a lot of very, very talented ambient musicians who use little to no reverb. It's whatever works for you at the moment, really, I suppose.
Yeah, because, like I said, I discovered you through that Where Post Rock Dwells website. It's great, actually, that, that's a great resource, as it were, that someone out there, going through Bandcamp and finding artists such as yourselves,
No,
and then
really
also,
good.
Linking to the Bandcamp, which is really handy. But also the other kind of genre of music I've been exploring as well is that heavier stoner doom type metal. And there's
Okay.
also similar YouTube channels. One's Where Post Rock, Stone Meadow of Doom, a very similar vibe. Where he's listing all the latest artists and bands on that front. So I've been
Yeah.
discovering bands
Who
that way.
who have you discovered Doom-wise at the moment? Is there anybody?
Well, there's some great bands in London been able to meet, such as Witch Hound.
Okay, that's
There's
nice.
Oak Stoner, a band up in Chester called 1968.
Okay, yeah, I think I've heard of that. Yeah,
So yeah, and there's then lots of gigs in London. There's Green Lung and Trevor's Head as well, who are a bit more punky.
yeah. Okay, cool.
I kind of just kind of went down the kind of doom path a bit after discovering Paul Bearer in America.
Okay.
And just love that sound as well. The kind of heaviness, the riffs, the slow detune vibes, but with a good vocal as well.
Yeah, I went for a bit of a phase quite a few years ago of listening quite a lot of Doom, but it was a bit more like Cult of Luna, that kind of thing. I don't know if this really counts as Doom, but like Typo Negative, that kind
Oh
of
yeah,
thing.
yeah, I know.
So yeah, it's great to explore as many different genres as you can, really, isn't it?
Yeah, but I guess I've also been struggling a bit with the genre names. When I first started playing what could be termed post rock on the show, I was trying to fumble around and talk about it and where it might have come from. Because when I was younger, I just liked music, and so
Yeah, I know. Well, the might be going to Art Tangent Festival this year,
hmm
and my wife was just sat there again. So, what is progressive rock, and what's the difference between post rock and progressive rock? And like, just like reels of all these random names. It's like the most worrying part is I think I could probably tell you the difference between most of them, which is
yeah. I mean, you can definitely hear like progressive rock, and it's actually I think Paul Bearer has become more progressive rock than Doom even now, for example. But I've only ever heard the expression post rock from the likes of Mogwai or I think. Godspeed You Black Emperor as well.
yeah.
And they were the first bands that came along like that. And Bark Psychosis, I think, were called referred to that briefly as well. But
Yeah.
then you have like as you say, ambient for sure is part of it. So like I said last night, I played a couple of artists. This like The Sun Burns Brightly that bridge the gap between sort of ambient into like for the kind of melodic openings and things, but then when you get the crescendo, it's heavy, almost like stoner rock.
Yeah, I think. Have you heard of Caspian at all?
I have, yeah.
They are the perfect example of that. They are the absolute masters of that at the moment, I would say. The switch between pure chill and just mayhem is just they're just so good at what they do.
Yeah, because I found, only this week, Chris from, The Sun Burns Bright. I think he's from the UK, but he might be based in America now. And his recent album as well, Through Dusk Came the Light. There's a couple of examples of there, when it slams into the crescendo, the guitars are amazing.
Yeah, I think post rock is just perfect for that kind of thing, isn't it? The old, I think the similar, because there's quite a few post metal bands who do that to the extreme as well. So, I mean, even going back to Cult of Luna a second ago, I think their album Salvation was a complete mixture of ambient and just doom metal, and it was just the extremes from one to the other.
Yeah.
It just works sometimes, doesn't it? It's just
Yeah, it's the juxtaposition, I guess. It's also a nice reflection of life in general, because it can definitely go like that. Very rarely do you have a very balanced middle way unless you're on meds or something.
yeah.
Like winter is pretty brutal, but then when you come out of it, you feel the contrast and go. And sometimes, in hindsight, you almost know why you had to go through the low point
Yeah,
to
yeah,
when the good bit comes in again from what you had to learn and integrate from it.
absolutely. Life is okay in the end. That kind of situation, isn't it? But,
Exactly. Yeah. Have
yeah.
you kind of noticed that in general, like from this expression? I guess how do I want to tie it together? Because obviously, as you say, you're creating the music from the perspective of alleviating the tinnitus. But then, is there another process that goes into writing the music? Do you kind of share any other thing? Is there any kind of catharsis that comes out of it?
I think subconsciously there probably is. So my latest album, Little Steps, sadly a friend of mine passed away.
Hmm.
So I was quite a low point. But it was a nice to get myself focused on something else. And going back to what we were just saying, actually, it's just kind of trying to get your head in the right place to think, actually, life is all right. Let's
Yeah.
just get through this kind of thing. So I used a lot of emotions and all sorts to put it into that rather than just moping around.
Yeah. Wallow. Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. So, I can just sit down and play the guitar and record it and just use all the energy into making music instead.
Yeah.
Um,
Yeah. Because the energy is there, and instead of internalizing it, you can find that way
ex-
of releasing it.
Absolutely, that's exactly it. And I'm sure, the likes of painters and stuff feel the same. It's
Yeah.
just, or just any art in general. It's just a good release, I think, more than anything.
Yeah, and actually, it's interesting. This genre of music as well is that it is almost a creation like a painting because, have you played this music live? For instance, that doesn't seem to be that kind of music that goes with that.
I've only played one show so far.
Yeah,
There are rough plans to do a mini tour in the summer. I've been really keen to get going live. It's just trying to figure out how to do it more than anything. So the gig that I played last year was myself, my brother, and Owen Feeney, who's a friend of mine, on the guitar,
yeah,
and then we had a laptop.
right.
But I'm keen to get rid of the laptop element.
Oh, right, to make it kind of analog.
Yeah, because I think the whole laptop situation's just kind of I can guarantee I'd be mid-song and the Windows error message would come up on a loop, and that would just be like, that kind of situation. But people who
Yeah,
do it well, they're really good at it.
yeah. I know psytrance producers who, yeah, they really go to lengths to make sure it doesn't happen. So they'll have
Yeah,
they'll have one Mac laptop that only has the one program on it that has it's never been on the internet. No internet things on it. Literally just the playout software or their the creation software, so they can plug it into something and know that it's more or less will
yeah, you're
work
not
for that thing.
gonna have the fail noise, but
Yeah,
or the Skype message tone comes up halfway through a song. But you could get away with saying, "No, that's part of the music." Yeah, that's what
I
I wanted
guess.
to sample the Skype tone. Yeah, that's what it was.
Or
But,
yeah, but also when it's live, it's nice to know that it's live rather than just something you. I guess if you have your laptop there, the temptation to pre-record something at home, show up and just press play.
exactly. Yeah. Just pump my fist while
Yes,
I'm
I
doing
really
it.
am
Yeah.
doing something on stage at the moment.
Yeah. Exactly. Just walk off halfway through the set while the music's still playing as well. But,
So yeah,
yeah. So hopefully something will come along this summer. There are quite a few plans. The wheels are slowly in motion. So we'll see how that goes.
yeah. So I guess because I'm looking at your back catalog, you've been doing a lot over the years, and have you noticed a shift in what's created? I know you mentioned about the guitar and using the reverb, but have there been other changes?
I think initially it was a lot more drone orientated, and then the last couple of albums have gone a little bit more, probably a bit more towards the post rock side of things.
Yeah, I kind of noticed that with Little Steps. Yeah, did not.
Yeah, absolutely, and I think that will hopefully work a little bit better in a live environment. Because I have been to ambient shows where it is like a drone show, and I really enjoy it. But my wife, not quite so much. Just sitting there listening to somebody play the same note for half an hour straight. So I think they're probably, if I was to do a few shows this summer, it probably will be a bit more post rocky. But like you say, I think it changes from album to album. I
Yeah,
think I still keep the odd ambient element in there.
yeah. Why not?
Yeah, we'll see how it goes. We'll see how it goes.
And
Graham.
I loved how you did a collaboration with Chihei Hatakayama as well. I remember playing some of his music back when I discovered it, like Towards a Tranquil Marsh as well. He really bridges that guitar sound with the ambience as well.
Chihi is absolutely incredible at what he does. It's how that came around. He's been a big influence of mine. And Jonathan from Hibernate Records said that they're putting out a series of collaborations of artists on the label. So I kind of threw my hat in saying, you reckon Chihi would be interested? Not thinking that he would be.
Yeah.
And he accepted, and away that went. And I was absolutely blown away because he's just... the man can do no wrong. He's so good at what he does.
Really, yeah, he's fantastic. It's actually very similar to, we just said it, to my friend Jay Mathrew, who's a wonderful rock guitarist. Oh, well, he's done all sorts, but he's done a very kind of progressive rock album. And he approached a few people as well, including Ellie Brosh. And, this is a wonderful Israeli guitarist. And she said, yeah, why not? And so, and so
that's so good.
Yeah.
That's fantastic. Yeah,
kind
a
of
friend of
collaborate
mine, Liam Hennessy, who you should definitely check out as well if you're into ambient post-rock stuff at the moment. We're kind of half trying to get a project started. We're both so busy at the moment, but we're desperately keen to get going as well with that.
I think we're just talking about playing live, and now all these creations that you've done, that to then now go from recording them from a just a recording perspective, or just play either in headphones to experience the benefit of the easing the tinnitus side of things, to then having something to perform and play it live to an audience. It's like a different experience for both you and the listener.
It will be, yeah. I think, like we're saying with Little Steps, it's going to be a lot easier to pull off live. And it also will require me to actually remember how to play any of the songs in my back catalogue, which will be might take me a little while of how to remember to play them. But
that's going to be interesting, though, because it's almost like doing a journal. You'll go back to them and hear them with a new perspective on where you are now compared to where you were when you first created them.
Yeah, that's very true. That will be interesting. I'm not sure. I'd be keen to, especially with the older stuff, to update it a little bit for a live setting. There's certain bands who do that kind of thing, and it blows my mind how they can keep the same song but just have a completely new, fresh sound to it as well.
And also, with this style of music, it gives you a bit more leeway to create almost like a whole experience, that you can be very creative in the venues where you play it. You can almost have a kind of almost like some beautiful lounge setup where there is more seating available. People can literally be chilled out. They can either be lying down, sitting down. There'll be some comfortable vibes around, and you can build this whole picture.
Absolutely. I saw Ola Mill a couple of years ago playing live, and like you say, it was a seated venue.
Yeah.
And they had some incredible visuals in the background, which just you zoned out without realizing. And Alex is so good at what he does that he worked the audience perfectly with all these visuals going on in the background. It's a really good experience.
Yeah.
Have you ever seen Sigur Ros live at all?
I haven't. I saw the singer Jonesy at a festival once, and that was pretty epic.
Yeah, so they use a lot of visuals. I don't know if Yonsei does visual stuff live as well.
Yeah.
At all. But yeah, again, it's just works so perfectly.
Yeah. Yeah, it's almost like you can almost set something up yourself if you know a couple of other artists, like you've mentioned. Maybe it's something that you can set up an event yourself, where you find a venue or a place that's a bit different, not your usual music venue. Something where you can have full control of the seating and then the visuals and stuff like that, and you can create your own little vibe.
Yeah, there's a venue in London, I think it's in Waterloo, called Eclectic.
Okay.
And that's a really, really nice venue there as well. So they set up visuals there, and it's seating, and it works so nicely with ambient music as well, which is so if you ever get the chance, nip down there as well, I think.
Yeah, wonderful. Yeah, there's also a little cinema on, where is it, Borough High Street. One of these little, it looked like it could have been a former restaurant or bar. It kind of still is to a degree at the front bit, but towards the back they have this cinema type bit with lots of sofas and stuff. So
Oh wow.
that could be kind of perfect as well.
No, it's really nice to have different environments for live music, I think,
Yeah,
rather than just your standard massive venues, stadium style things. It's nice having a little.
yeah,
The
because
only way I can describe it is, the best gigs that I've ever been to are kind of like little dusky jazz bar, like Twin Peaksy style places. Always seem to just like smoky old venues. Always
yeah,
seem to be the most atmospheric, I think.
yeah, and that works perfectly again for this style of music. So yeah, I can see you kind of really your mind thinking about how it's going to pan out, and little live experiences you're going to create down the line.
Yeah, have to come up with some jazz riffs now. That's the trouble, isn't it? Let's do it.
But I've been enjoying, yes, like seeing some of the metal music at venues, and some, there's some bigger pubs and venues like that where it kind of suits, yeah, when you can just either move around or rock on or head banging there, it kind of suits that. But yeah, for something a bit
Yeah,
more ambient, you do want that kind of quieter vibe.
my brother's band might interest you. So they're kind of post rock doom metal. So they're called Oceanus.
Okay,
Let's give them a go. I
is
think
it?
they might be your cup of tea, Graham.
It
There you
sounds
go.
like it. OCEAN.
Yep. So
Y-
Ocean Us, basically. Yeah.
Okay, I should look it up.
Yeah.
Yeah, I've been making notes.
Yeah. There we go. That's your homework for today.
Yes, thank you. And so, where did the name come from? I just been again when I play this music on this show, I always talk about these evocative, beautiful song and album titles. There's one that came to mind. IO do a couple of wonderful ones. To anyone that I have loved, and to all the places I could have called home, or we could
Yeah,
have
that's
called
cool.
home. Yeah, and so so you get these like beautiful phrases that conjure these wonderful images. But then you create those as well for sure. I just love what you've created in your back catalog. This is as good place as any, for example. But where did Good Weather for an Airstrike come from?
So it's not quite as interesting story as it probably sounds like it is. It's essentially a rough translation of a Sigur Ros album song title.
Ah,
So that's pretty much as far as that one goes. But I think a lot of people might look at the title and think, here we go, here's some thrash metal to listen to. But probably a little bit disappointed in the end. But the album titles, like say going back, they're all quite. I mean, so I've got twin daughters, so the album Little Steps, it was their first few steps was around that time. So it was when I was writing it. A Home for You was when they were born, so I
right.
released that kind of thing. This is Good a Place as Any is a little bit of a funny story. So when I proposed to my wife, we were walking along the beach, and that's exactly what I said, because I was like trying to find the perfect spot, and I was like, this is as good a place as any. Here we'll do. Let's do that. Well, there we go.
Beautiful. So pretty much say what you see.
Yeah, exactly that. Yeah.
Wonderful. So as well as playing, the songs live more often, how do you see this unfolding? Do you just want to keep continuing to create this music?
Yeah, at the moment, there's a few things in the pipeline which I'm keen to get going. So I've got an album in the works, which is very, very slow process at the moment, but we'll see how that goes along, and a couple of collaborations coming up this year. It's all just play it by ear at the moment is what I'm doing. I'm not forcing myself into doing anything.
Yeah, because when you force yourself, the creation process definitely goes a bit awry.
Exactly that. So it's just see how it goes.
And
See how it goes.
and
Mostly.
also, are you changing the way you record a little bit, or is it just using it the same way?
Yeah, at the moment it's the same way. I'm always looking for new things. So I'm very much a pedal nerd at the moment. So I'm just trying to seek out as many pedals as I can to play around with. I mean, the amount of reverb pedals that I've got now is a little bit embarrassing, but there we go.
And also, you get those wonderful new Katana amps, these Boss amps and stuff that replace the that cube, and they kind of have some built-in things, don't they?
They
I've been
do,
noticing.
yeah. So I had a microcube for a little while, which is a nifty little piece of kit. But yeah, like you say, they're all the amps now are starting to come out with some clever gizmos on them. So.
Yeah, and with all the pedals you're buying, soon you might accidentally be starting a doom metal band.
Yeah, definitely, exactly.
So you'll find one day you get that huge crunchy riff, and okay, that's
I didn't mean to put the distortion on there, but it's working. So let's go with that. So there we go.
exactly. But yeah, that's pretty much covers what I wanted to find out, and it's really great to hear from you, hear your voice, and see how you came out to be doing what you're doing, and it's just wonderful to hear.
Thank you very much, Graham.
Okay, thanks, Tom. Keep enjoying your
Have a good
day.
one. Cheers, you too. See you later.